Friday. Now, because we know how to multiply from Friday, we really didn't spend a whole lot of time over the weekend, so hopefully you were at least able to kind of review a few things possibly. But today, these are called special products. In other words, we are just squaring them. All right, we're just squaring them. And then sum, all right, it's called the difference of squares, and I will try to explain that to you also. All right, so if we multiply n plus 3 squared, that really just means n plus 3 times n plus 3. All right, so just multiplying it just like we did on Friday. This should be super, super simple. All right, so if I do 3 times 3 is a positive 9, a positive 3n, a positive 3n, and an n squared. So I'm left with n squared plus 6n plus 9. Anybody have any questions? It's really, really simple. Really simple.
I only have one question on how you got the 3n instead of the 2n. Like there's only 2 n's.
N times n is n squared. Remember, when you multiply, you add exponents. When you multiply, you add exponents. You hear me?
Yeah, but like n times n, so that's just 2n.
No, it's not. Listen to me. Here's what you're asking me. Shh. Listen to what you're saying.
What's n squared?
Do you understand that or not?
I just...
Let me just write it again.
Oh, wait.
N squared means n times n.
Yeah. But
so if I do n times n, I get n squared.
No, I have a question on the 3n.
Okay, 3n plus 3n gives me 6n's.
Oh, wait, never mind.
It's all right. Come on, you're with me.
So, what do you do with the square?
The square in the parentheses means n plus 3 times n plus 3. That's what that means. All right? Just like for number 3, when we say y minus 7 squared, that means what? Y minus 7 times y minus 7. All right, so multiply that out. And if you are good at this, just ignore me now and go to the end of the page. Just do them as fast as you can. All right, so y minus 7 times y minus 7, positive 49, negative 7y, negative 7y, y squared. Y squared minus 14y plus 49. Anybody have any issues with that? Any questions with number 3? It's really simple. All right. Now, number 5 is a little different. All right. For one reason. All right. It's different for one reason, because what happens to the middle term? It cancels out. Thank you very much. So if you were to write this, b plus 1 times b minus 1. All right, now when you're multiplying, all right, negative 1 times positive 1 is negative 1. Negative b, positive b, and b squared. All right, what happens to negative b and positive b? They cancel out. So your final answer is just b squared minus 1. Simple as that. B squared minus 1. Connor, are you with me today? You write it all down? All right, L plus 2 times L plus 2. All right. Now, did I skip 7? Okay, thank you. All right, so I'm going to do one more, and then I'm going to show you the shortcut techniques that I would want you to be able to do. All right, it's very easy. All right, so here we go. So p minus 4 times p minus 4. So that would be positive 16, negative 4p, negative 4p, p squared minus 8p plus 16. Guys, Yeah, there is a pattern. You're
It's a
exactly.
number squared, and then if it's positive, you add the 2. If it's negative, it's going to be negative, and then you just square the
Okay, thank you for that explanation,
You're
James.
welcome.
All right, let me show you the real thing you should be doing now. All right, let me show you something now. All right, here's what I want you to think of. Now, again, listen, most people can just look at these and tell you the answer. And I'm going to try to show you how we're going to do that now. Look up, please. All right, it's very simple. Very simple. So here we go. We know when you multiply, you're going to multiply L times L together, and what's that? L squared. All right, now here's what I want to show you right now. Please look, because stacking them on top of each other and multiplying is, yeah, that's good for basics. All right, but when you get to higher up, you still are learning the patterns. All right, so let me explain to you how simple this is. All right, what I show kids is little smiley face. All right, what does that mean? Look right here, please. These two always get multiplied together, and these two always get multiplied together. That's why when I can tell you what the answer is, I'm visualizing that process right there. All right, please listen to what I'm saying, Connor. All right, this is a big help, believe it or not. All right, so when you see this right here, 2 times L is 2L. 2 times L is 2L. When you add them together, you get what? 4L. So that would be a positive 4L. And then what happens is you always multiply the last two together. So that makes it a what? A positive 4. That makes it a positive 4. All right? So here we go again, one more time, just to make sure you guys are understanding the pattern, because this is where I want you. I stack them on top of each other just so I can show you how simple the process is. All right? But this is how most people do it. All right? This is how most people do it. It's a visual problem. It's a visual problem. So please watch what I'm doing. All right? You're going to say 3G times 3G is what? 9G squared. It's not a problem. 9G squared. All right, now you're making your smiley face. Here is how much? 6G. Then here's my other little smiley face. That's what? Negative 6G. So you have a positive 6 and a negative 6, which do what? Cancel each other out. And so your final statement now is positive 2 times negative 2, which is a what? Which is a negative 4. 9G squared minus 4. Super, super easy. All right. Now, instead of writing 6 plus u squared, I would prefer that you write it as u plus 6 times u plus 6. All right. Now, let's take a look at it. What is u times u? U squared. All right. Now we're doing the smiley face. How much is that? 6u. How much is this? 6u. Altogether, that gives me a positive 12u, and then 6 times 6, plus 36. I'm agreeing with you. It's very simple. All right, very simple. All right, most of this could be done, both these worksheets could be done in less than 15 minutes. All right, if you know the pattern. If you don't know the pattern, if you have to set it up and multiply, it's kind of boring after a while, but the repetition is important. You always do this. When you're taking calculus, you will be doing this. All right? That's why I tell you it's important. Learn the basics now. Your future math will be easier. If you don't learn this now, your future math will be harder. All right? So now let's take a look at 3q plus 1 times 3q minus 1. So the first thing, 3q times 3q is what? 9q squared. The middle term, 3q. The other middle term, negative 3q. What do they do? Cancel out. Positive 1 times negative 1. Negative 1. Very simple. All right? One more time. All right, I'm going 2k minus 2. What's 2k times 2k? 4k squared. How much is this? Negative 4k. How much is this? Negative 4k. Altogether? Negative 8k. And then negative 2 times negative 2. Positive 4, right?
Oh, yeah.
Be careful. Be careful. Very simple. All right, very simple. All right, last one. All right. 3p. Well, actually, I'm going to do an x and a y down there too. Next couple more. 3p times 3p is what? 9p squared. We have here what? Negative 12 and positive 12. So they do what? Cancel out. Negative 4 times positive 4. Negative 16. Thank you very much. All right. Number 21. X minus 4y times x minus 4y. All right, I'm just doing this one because there's multiple variables, but of course that's not going to hurt anything. All right, so here we go. What's x times x? X squared. Now, alphabetical. Negative 4xy. And over here is another what? Negative 4xy. So altogether that is a, yes, negative 8xy. And then negative 4y times negative 4y is a positive 16y squared. Positive 16y squared. Yes,
So
sir.
like whenever it's like the y, like different.
Remember now, listen to what I'm telling you. Listen to me. I know what you're trying to say. Listen. Understand the process. Do you hear me? Understand the process. It makes it much easier. All right, you're still trying to put things, here's how you do this, here's how you do this, here's how you do this. Understand what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. You have to practice it. Watching me do it is not good enough. It's not. Or it's not good enough. All right? Now here, 3y times 3y. 9y squared. Middle term, what's that? Negative 9gy. Positive 9gy. They do what? Cancel. And then negative 9g squared. Yes, sir. What do you got?
I have a question back on 21. So how come it's not negative 8x squared y squared if you added negative 4y?
What's x plus x? Shh.
X squared?
That's what you think. That's right. But that's not correct. X plus x is 2x. If you have, listen, I always try to tell kids, think of it concrete. Like if I say what's 1 apple plus 1 apple, I have what?
2 apples.
I don't have 2 apples squared. Or apples squared. You see what I'm saying, right? So it's the same principle. 1x plus 1x was easy for me. 1x plus 1x, I have what? 2 x's. Now, how did I know x squared meant x times x? Because I know the definition of x squared means x times x. So when I multiply, that's when I do what? I add the exponents. You hear what I'm trying to tell you? Or that's an easy way to try to get yourself out of a mess when you take a standardized test. Because you're going to be sitting in front taking some standardized test, whether it's ACT, SAT, entrance exams. There's not a possible way to memorize all the formulas. That's what I was trying to tell him. If you understand what I'm saying, it's just crystal clear. Right? As soon as you don't understand what I'm saying, you should ask a question. And let me try to show you why it's the way it is. All right? And I've tried to tell you, and you're a little stubborn, so you know that. If you listen to me, I promise you I'm showing you the very best, the most effective, all right? And the best way that will help you understand difficult concepts. All right? This is a building block. So for calculus. All right? Calculus is called advanced algebra for a reason. It's not hard. All right? It's just this is the basics right now. And most kids don't understand the basics. All right? You can't memorize math. You cannot. All right? So listen to what I'm telling you. Just come on. All I want is a question out of you. I didn't do 14. All right? All right, last one I want to talk about is 25. All right, so we have 2k plus m squared, and then 2k plus m squared. Like I said, if you know this one, this whole thing is easy now. All right, because there's multiple variables. Variables are squared. All right, so let's talk about it. 2k times 2k is what? 4k squared. Now, your smiley face, that gives me 2m squared k. And then another what? 2m squared k. So it is 4m squared k, JKLM. So if you want to put the k before the m, right, that would be okay. So it would be plus 4k m squared. Is everybody okay with that? If you put m squared k, does it matter? No, I'm not marking it wrong. I'm just saying alphabetical order is standard form. All right? And then it would be plus, what's m squared times m squared? M to the fourth. All right? That's what I want out of you guys. And again, I don't think that's that difficult. All right? It's just the rules. It really is just the rules. Now, what I want to do for you guys now is I want to jump back to last week, and we're going to talk about 8.3 real quick. So I want to show you how that applies. So go to the second worksheet where it has x plus 7 times x plus 4. And I want to show you how this applies to that worksheet also. So please listen, I promise you, you don't have to stack them on top anymore and multiply them. It's even easier now. It's even easier. I would want everybody to just look at number 2 and say that's x squared plus 11x plus 28. You can look at every single one of these down to question number 10 and tell me what the answer is in your head. All right, you should be able to do that. All right, now let's practice. Here we go. Let's practice.
Isn't it easier if you just say that x squared, so that's x times x, and then 7 plus 4?
Listen to me again. You're reminding me of James now. Again, part of what I'm trying to tell you is this. If there was an easier way, I promise you I would tell you. All right, and I'm just saying now, honestly, I started doing this like literally 30 years ago. All right, I've done so many different ways throughout this time that I've come up with every single possibility to do the problem. Right? I've been saying that if there was an easier way, I promise you I would explain it that way. Now, some kids say I'd do it better this way. I'm not going to argue with you. Some of you are stubborn. You got to learn the hard way. I believe that. So do it whatever you want to do it. And eventually you'll come back and say, yeah, he was right. All right? And some of you do it differently just because you want to annoy me, which I understand also. All right? So here we go. No, I'm not arguing with you. Do it however you want. I don't care. I'm saying I'm never going to mark the answer that's correct wrong because you did it your way. Never. I've never done that. You get the right answer, more power to you. All right? So for number 2, again, my opinion, it should be, you should be able to look at that and say x times x is x squared. Now, smiley face, 7x and 4x makes what? 11x. So x squared plus 11x, 4 times 7, 28. That's how simple that is. All right, so now we're going to do the next one. All right, a times a is what?
A squared.
Now I have 5a minus 6a, which is negative 1a, and then negative 30. Really simple. Really simple. Mental math. And again, the reason why I say that's important is because as you progress, you're supposed to be able to do that. You're supposed to just be able to say that's the answer. All right? Now, a little bit harder. Here we go. So I have 2x times 2x. 4x squared. Now, the smiley face. Negative 18 and positive 8 gives me negative 10x. Negative 10x. And then negative 9 times positive 4. Negative 36. That's how simple. All right? Now, 2x times 5x is what? 10x. So I have 10x squared. Now, there's negative 10 and negative 8, which makes negative 18x, and then plus 8. Now, eventually, what's going to happen is you won't have to put the little smiley faces there. You'll just be able to picture what you're multiplying together. All right, yes.
Yeah, so you know how like to get the last thing that's like on number 6 it was minus 36, you did
Negative 9.
oh wait, actually never mind. I don't have a question.
All right, thank
See
you.
how you got 18, negative 18x.
Okay, so here we go. You ready? Negative 10x and negative 8x gives me negative 18x.
Yeah, but like I don't see like.
You just said yeah, but I don't.
Well, I know when you got like the negative 10, like the 10x, and then you got the 8. But
So negative 10x and negative 8x makes negative 18x.
yeah. Okay. I just got confused.
You good now?
Yeah.
So if you're adding two, so if you're adding
All I'm asking you about is number 8. What's the matter with
No,
that?
but I'm
Shh.
just making sure.
No, I don't want you to make sure because first of all, you don't have your iPad, you haven't written a single thing down, and it's just irritating. And now you're wanting to get involved. Come on. All right, you're trying to do it all in your head. All right, number 10, here we go. 4g times 2g, 8g squared. Now, here is how much? 6, A, B, C, D, F, G, H. So it would be GH. And then here would be another what? 12. So that would be a positive 18 GH. And then finally, plus 9H squared. That is correct. Yes.
Alright, so this is like
Good.
when you do why do you do plus 9 squared instead of like plus 4 plus 8g squared?
Okay, so all it is a pattern. So again, watch. I used to do this times this. That gives you 8g squared. So you multiply the first two together, that gives you the first term. You multiply the last two together, that gives you the last term.
Okay.
All right? So occasionally someone will talk to you about you're going to FOIL. And FOIL means first, outer, inner, last. But I don't teach that way because it doesn't always work. All right? So again, you will come up if you go to somebody and someone asks you to try to show you how to do it. It's not me. They will probably introduce something called FOIL. First terms, the outer terms, the inside, and the last. All right? But again, all I'm showing you is that every single term in the first parentheses has to be multiplied by every single term in the second parentheses.
Okay.
All right? That's essentially what you're doing. All right? Now, for number 12, to me, there is nothing easy about there's no special little pattern here. All right? If somebody asked me to multiply that together, I still, to this day, write it as t squared plus 4t plus 7 over t plus 3. I just think that's the absolute easiest way to do it. So I would never tell somebody to do it differently. All right? I would stack that on top of each other. So then I have a what? A positive 21, a positive 12t, a 3t squared. Positive 7t, positive 4t squared, and t cubed. All right? All over. All right? Then I have t cubed plus 7t squared plus 19t plus 21. All right? Does anybody have any questions with that? All right, very straightforward, very simple. Anybody have any issues? All right, I like it that way because it lines up perfectly, shows you which numbers you have to add. All right. Now, the next thing I want to do is we're just going to do question number 18. All right, even though it's not going to be on the test, it's like an Algebra 2 question. But the pattern is what? The pattern is exactly the same. All right, the pattern is exactly the same. So I want to write number 18 down, 2t squared plus t plus 3, and then we're going to do 4t squared plus 2t minus 2, and I'm going to show you. Very, very simple. All right? So you do it just like you're multiplying 123 times 241. All right? That's all. It's the same process. All right? So in this case, it would be -6. Then it would be -2t. Then it would be -4t squared. Then it would be a positive 6t. And then a positive 2t squared. And then a positive 4t cubed. And then a positive 12t squared, positive 4t cubed, positive 8t to the fourth. Final answer, 8t to the fourth plus 8t cubed plus 10t squared plus 4t minus 6. It's very, very simple. Very simple. All right? Again, it's helpful practicing, because when you multiply variables, you do what? Add exponents. All right? When you're adding, the exponents remain the same. All right? Yes, sir, Freddie.
So couldn't you check out your calculator?
Actually, some of the newer calculators are starting to come up with that, but right now, you have to have a special program on your calculator. All right? So there is nothing you can do right now. All right? You're going to have to figure it out on your own. All right? It is definitely possible. All right? The calculator is becoming more and more and more powerful. There's so many things that it can do, so many things to help you. But for me personally, by the time you type it in on the calculator, I can do it. You know what I'm saying? All right? Because it's really simple. It's really simple. So again, I don't have an issue with that. All right? So again, the main thing for today now is to make sure you're going, I know Friday's lesson, and I know today's lesson. All right? What time do we get out? 1 minute. Okay, so now listen. Here is what I'm going to say to you guys. Listen, I don't really want to give you homework tonight, but what I am going to do is listen. Probably during lunch, I'm going to have the review ready. So I want you to open up the review tonight of everything. So we have a 2-day review, have a quiz on Thursday. So I want you to get started. All right? Do they have any questions? Good job, good job, good job. Yes, ma'am.
Do you need this?
No, not really.
No?
Thank you, though.